Hello, everybody, and welcome back. I'm KRX, and we're going to be doing a sort of a SWOT analysis and country assessment for Florence, actually. So we're playing as Florence, a little merchant republic with a special sort of government type. If you have the newest DLC, Emperor DLC, and then you get some new stuff for Florence. Florence is actually kind of a cool nation. You can get a number of different interesting achievements with them. There's one very specific one for Florence where it actually wants you to form Egypt as Florence. So as Florence, form Egypt. Now, typically, of course, as an Italian nation, there's no real basis for us to actually form Egypt. But what you can do is you can conquer the Egyptian culture land down here, and then you can culture flip to Egypt, and then you know once you've culture flipped to Egypt, you'll be able to form Egypt. And I think you can do that on administrative tech 20. So it's actually a little bit later in the game before it'll be like 1650 before you can get that done. A little bit later than like Spain or Great Britain or some of the other formable nations. So it's kind of a goofy thing because getting down there is also kind of interesting because clearly we don't actually have the distance to get down there. The Mamluks are also very powerful this patch. They tend to do very well. They tend to sort of dominate this area even more so maybe than the Ottomans. That's been my experience with the last few times that we've played since 1.3. But what I want to do now, so you can get it's called the Prince of Egypt, right? So you can get the Prince of Egypt achievement as Florence form Egypt. Very interesting one. You could also just go for Mare Nostrum. It's a good central position on the Mediterranean, so we can just sort of do Mare Nostrum from this position, no problem there. Just like Genoa or any of the Italian nations, it'd be very an interesting run to go for that. And then there's probably a bunch of smaller stuff and stuff, but those are kind of the main ones, I think. The main big ones that could define your run as Florence. And we did actually just do a campaign with Florence on the Twitch channel, and we'll do a timeline of final thoughts for that run so that people can see how that went. We were going specifically for the Prince of Egypt, but we ended up setting ourselves up for a possible Mare Nostrum or Roman Empire achievement as well, but we ended up not doing that. So Mare Nostrum achievement is to form the Roman Empire, which is basically when you control France, a little bit of sort of London, a lot of Iberia, and then the Mediterranean, essentially. And I think you might need some land over here as well. I can't remember exactly. You basically reform like the Roman Empire at its height. So as Florence, so let's look at this country. Let's do an assessment of the diplomatic ecosystem. Let's talk a little bit of sort of general strategy and stuff. And then in the next episode, we'll actually sort of do some opening moves. So here we're just going to go through, let's figure out what's going on. What's the dealio with Florence? Looks like we got 2 diplomats here. And we are a member of the HRE. So we can look at that right away. We are a member of the HRE. Bologna is not. Bologna is definitely a possible for sort of initial expansion. Siena, Lucca. Some of these nations will join trade leagues. Some of them won't. It's hard to tell who's going to do what. We're definitely probably going to want to attack these nations here. Let's take a look at our missions really quick because there's an interesting mission that you can kind of get right off the bat if you do some little things, and it actually is very, very important. This is like one of the most important things for Florence, I think, because it sets you up to do get free claims on the Tuscany region and some other things but you have to have 12 diplomatic gain per month. So if we look at our situation, we have a 655. That's really good. We're getting 8 per month. If we focus this, we'll get 10. If we focus this, we'll get 10. We could pick up a person here for 11. And then what we could do is we could slot in, for the burgers, we could slot in diplomatic points per month. And that would give us up to 12, right? That would give us the 12 that we need to get this done before we even unpause the game. Gives us extra diplomatic relations. Extra and also improve relations, which is very useful in terms of getting the high aggressive expansion land down here in Italy and sort of fighting that off. Once we do this mission, though, we'll have another mission to ally 2 different countries with Italian capitals. Now, ideally, we haven't looked at who's rivaled us and stuff, but I'm kind of hoping we'll be able to ally, the Papal State. We're going to want to ally the Papal State. I think that's a no-brainer. That's going to be a booyah situation right there. So let's grab the Papal State. And then we'll have to look around and see who the other one is. So we need 2 allies. And what we can do is if we can ally 2 countries in Italy that have their capitals in Italy, and we can get 12 Diplo points per month, if we can do these 2 things, we'll be able to get free claims on the Tuscany region which includes Lucca and Siena, and these are permanent claims, so they're cheaper. They're 25% reduced cost to core and take than a normal claim, which is only 10% reduction. Huge difference. And this is very important to manage your administrative power and your aggressive expansion in this region, as in Italy all this stuff is incredibly expensive, and it's also that 200 is going to cost us 200 admin points to take this. So if we can get a 25% reduction on this, yes please. Yes please. Also, it's going to mean that we can get into war before these guys get their alliance network set up, because they're going to, naturally these guys are going to get allies. They're going to join trade leagues and stuff like that. And we also get a free claim on this region over here, which is just insane, because Ferrara is also relatively vulnerable. This gives us a permanent claim on Venice here. We also get Bologna, that's quite vulnerable. Any of these three countries will be an initial sort of starting point. We're just going to have to dissect the diplomatic relationship as it comes. Siena is probably the #1 most important province that we can take, just on the basis that it gives us a connection to Naples. And if Naples breaks free from Aragon, which did not happen when we did our run, did not happen, but most of the time, I think like 90% of the time, Naples will pop out. So if Naples pops out here, we need Siena to be able to reach Naples and get claims on Naples, and be able to hop to Naples and start taking this land down here. And the cool thing about Naples is, right, Naples will get us further to, it'll get us potentially into the Balkans, into Greece and in the Balkans, and then we can use that to, sort of hop our way down here to Egypt, which is ultimately potentially our goal if we're trying to do the Prince of Egypt achievement. Venice also. Attacking Venice, getting this province is really nice because it gets us more additional claims on Venice, and we'll be able to also take Crete, which gives us a permanent base of operation against the Mamluks and into the Egyptian land. We're talking a little bit of strategy right now because this tripped me up. The first time we played Florence, we ended up having to restart for a number of different reasons. Mostly we went Protestant when we had a lot of aggressive expansion with everybody, and all of Europe joined a coalition against us, like at 1500. Going Protestant, you kind of have to cool it a little bit, because if you're the first one to go Protestant, all these Catholic nations that by default like you start hating you, and they all kind of turned against us when we were managing things appropriately beforehand. So for the most part, I didn't do this the first time because I didn't even see it, right? We're making decisions, we're clicking buttons, we didn't even see it, but we do want to do this. We have a pretty good economy, so we can afford to grab a level 1 guy. Trade efficiency guy is going to be fantastic. Going to be fantastic there. And I think, honestly, despite the fact this is going to cost us, so first we want to seize land, no doubt about it, but to get the Diplo point, to get the extra Diplo point per month, I'm trying to think, is there any other way that we can do it? We could have got a level 2 guy, which, to be fair, would have been okay. Would have been okay. That would have been one way to do it without having to get us to take this. But this is probably going to be an okay thing overall. What are we looking for? Looking for this, the monthly Diplo. So if we take this, now I know that we've lost Crown Land. We're losing 10% tax modifier. That's fine. Absolutism doesn't matter right now. We have no subjects. This is totally fine. We've lost Crown Land. We need to recover 5% of that to get rid of the negative tax modifier. Not a big deal. That did get us up to 12 though. And this is okay because we have an amazing ruler. We're going to get our admin tech pretty quickly, and we're going to probably take diplomatic ideas first. This gives us more diplomats to manage relationships and fight down aggressive expansion by sort of by buffering it, right? If people like you, then they won't join a coalition against you, even if they have a certain amount of aggressive expansion. And the benign diplomats here is very, very good, because that improved relationships is how the aggressive expansion goes away. Improved relationships helps us build relations with countries faster, and positive modifiers tick down slower, but negative modifiers like aggressive expansion go away faster the more of this that you have. So diplomatic ideas are just going to be incredible. Plus the province war score, just going to save us a bajillion points. And the diplomatic reputation is good because, honestly, as a republic, our diplomatic reputation is a huge problem. We do not have a diplomatic reputation by default. We only have one because we are in the HRE. When we leave the HRE, which it will happen, well, by choice, I guess we'll have to kind of figure out if we want that to happen or not. In fact, does Austria like us? Austria is neutral towards us. The alliance with Austria would be good, would be nice. Neutral attitude towards Florence. Okay, we could change that. We'll probably try to work on Austria. That'll probably be a good sort of strategy there, but we need to also figure out who the other person's going to ally. Either way, we've completed this. Cool. That's completed. We need to get one more ally in Italy, and that'll give us free claims. So we just need to figure out who we want to ally that isn't, someone that we're going to want to conquer pretty quickly. Milan is landlocked. Doesn't have Milan does have a really important province here, but for the most part, that's pretty far away in our sort of conquest. Like it's all landlocked. Milan would be a good person to potentially ally. It does kind of depend on how some of the relationships here have wiggled out. They've actually rivaled Crimea. They've rivaled ourselves. They've rivaled Milan. Let's see who the Papal State has rivaled. Venice. We probably want to rival Venice as well. Savoy. Savoy could be a rival or potentially an ally, but I think more likely, yeah, I think we avoid allying any of the nations that the Pope has rivaled. So Milan actually looks like a good option here. Really good option here. Neutral attitude, though. Well, we can get the royal marriage. Getting the royal marriage with Milan would most likely give us the option to get the alliance very, very quickly, right? Very quickly. So we'll try to ally Milan. That seems like a decent thing there. Also, if we... Okay, Milan, you were rivaled to Mantua. Genoa. Okay, let's see. Maybe we could do Genoa here. Now, I think we want to do a lot of these smaller nations if we have the opportunity to beat them up. Like Siena. I think we want to do... Potentially, we want to do Ferrara. Ferrara, what's your situation with your rivals? You've rivaled us in Bologna. Lucca, we could pounce on Lucca pretty quickly. I mean, these are countries that will just evaporate on us, basically. But I think Ferrara is still someone that we would attack in like a subsequent war after Siena or Lucca. So I think we do Venice. Or no, I think we do Genoa in hopes of getting that alliance with Milan locked in. Yeah, okay. Just making sure that the Pope isn't going to be like upset by the fact that we rivaled Genoa. But it seems like that's going to be fine. We don't know who the Pope's going to ally initially. I mean, they've allied us, right? But then they also try to go out and get strong allies too. Our economy is pretty good here. We can easily build up our force limit. So let's build up to the full... So here's the interesting thing here. I'm actually going to remove that, build over here, because we are probably going to want to build some ships. But then again, we can't actually afford any ships. Let's just have our ship protecting trade in Genoa there and have it coming back at peacetime. We're not going to need a navy to take out these neighbors. But these are so cheap to maintain that I don't think it's a big deal. I don't think we have to mothball the ships. I don't think we have to mothball the ships. We could double check that our merchants are doing something logical here. Pushing from Valencia over. And we do not have the trade range for Alexandria. We're going to want to do Alexandria as soon as we can. So right now we're pushing from Ragusa and Valencia. That's fine. And as soon as we get the trade range for Alexandria, we're going to want to switch from Valencia most likely to Alexandria and stuff. One of the things I've noticed is like you don't get a free trader with Florence. So in fact, we have minus 10% development cost as an idea and 5% discipline once we finish our ideas. Really, really cool. And we get minus technology cost, idea cost. Florence's ideas are really cool. They're very well rounded. There's a few little touches of military aspect, but they're actually pretty good. They're very good for sort of building up your own country and just developing your country, which is kind of neat, I think. Just kind of going through. We have a fort. We could mothball that if we wanted to save half a ducat. And you know what? Maybe it'd be worth doing that. Thing is, this guy's not likely to last very long. We could roll him as a general. But I think instead we're just going to roll one. He's very good. We don't want him to die. He's very strong. A 1-2, that's perfectly adequate. The nice thing is you can drill your troops. You don't have... But we're going to be getting claims on these guys very quickly. Very quickly. So we don't need to do anything there. Let's go through and do our estates really quick. I'm wondering actually if we lost 10% more crown land, how bad that would be. But I don't think we need to be pushing it there. We still have enough money. If we have enough money, we could get another... Ooh, these are all level 2s. But notice these are cheap level 2s. These are 2 ducat level 2s. So we start with a bunch of artists. These are historical people, I'm suspecting. So we can afford this guy, which is kind of cool. We cannot afford to hire, but we will, I think, be able to afford to pay for these dudes. Stability, we could think about boosting stability while it's still cheap. It's only 90. Let's boost 1 stability while it's cheap. We have an amazing ruler. Not worried about getting points. We're gonna be swimming in points. We also have a +2. We just got this guy, so let's get the extra stability. Now let's start slotting in these guys that are gonna save us some money. There we go. Now it's only 1.5. Beautiful. So we're doing clergy privileges. This is fine. That just gives them more influence and stuff. We can try to also boost up our taxation here by increasing the influence. Missionary maintenance, we're not going to need that for a long time. I think we're going to hold off on that. Over here in the military section, we can pay a little bit of money for more manpower. Manpower actually is an issue for Florence. We're not going to have a large manpower total. We're more quality over quantity. This guy is fine, but we don't have any military advisors yet, but that'll make it 25% cheaper to hire them. Okay, let's go down here and look. Now, we definitely want the one that gives us cheaper light ships and more trade power from our light ships. That's pretty good. You know, doing this is not a bad deal. Taking the really cheap 5 loans, 1% interest loans. This is really, really solid, especially if you have a way to fight down that inflation. We definitely want this. And it's just kind of a matter of like, okay, well, what do we do here? I think we maybe save this other slot. Alternatively, what we could do is we could add free enterprise to try to get up our equilibrium is already 50%. So that's all we need. We need that to be about 50% so we could be seizing land without issue. Whereas our equilibrium here is 53%, equilibrium here is 49%. It's close enough. The influence should probably be going up in these areas. I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how that goes. Giving a little bit of a buffer there on the influence is fine. You know what? Actually, let's keep this mothballed. No, this is a capital fort. No, it isn't. Oh. It's a capital fort. Let's keep it mothballed for now, because there's still going to be a fort there even if the war breaks out, but we're going to be fighting relatively weak nations and ambushing these smaller countries at the beginning. So it's not a big deal. We are a Catholic nation. I think it does make sense to go Protestant, but when you go Protestant, you have to make sure that not everybody's going to turn against you like it happened to us. If you form Italy, you cannot form Egypt, so it's important to note that this is an endgame tag. Just throwing that out there for people. Just sort of talking. We're just talking a little bit about Florence. We'll do the opening moves in the next episode here, guys, where we're going to try to get this done. This also says embrace the Renaissance. Well, there's a good chance that we could actually just get the Renaissance to spawn in our country. Totally possible, which would be really, really cool. I think for the most part, everything's situated and ready to go here. We are ready to go. When we get a little bit more money, I think we'll be able to slot in one of these guys for only 0.75 ducats per month. Morale of Armies guy. That'll be fantastic. We'll be making money. If we weren't paying for our troops, we'd make more money. When the troops get built, we should still be making money. Yep, it looks like we're situated here. We have a little bit of low crown land issue, but that's okay. And we'll be able to get an advisor soon. So thanks everybody for watching. I think we are ready to do our opening moves, which we've talked about. It depends on how the Alliance Network is going to go, but we're going to get free claims on this entire state, so Lucca and Siena, and free claims on this state, which includes Bologna and Venice, and also Ferrara. So depending on how the Alliance Networks folds out here, we'll be able to do a very quick, decisive war against these countries. And we should be able to just sort of curb stomp them a little bit and start to grow the empire. Because right now what we want to do is get aggressive expansion on the books so it can start decaying, right? Right now, we have no aggressive expansion with people. We want to get some just so we can be utilizing the boost that we have with the improved relations. So we have 100 and basically, an extra 28% improved relations from that event that we just finished, which is nice. Thanks everybody for watching this sort of discussion and sort of theory or strategy development and SWOT analysis for Florence. Thank you so much everybody for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one where we will do some opening moves and we'll actually test our strategies and our thought process in the next episode. Thanks everybody for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.